This video today is kind of like to point out how stupid people are in general. I don't know how you say it, Apology or whatever. It's a YouTube. I'll show you in a minute. The guy's a fucking moron. Uh, you can tell he's a worthless loser. Everything around him is shit. Uh, he was raised a Christian, but now he spends all of his time talking about how Christianity's wrong. He's got a show, and it's his identity now. And that's very typical with these people because they don't have a life, they don't have an identity, and all they can do is spend their time bitching about something that happened to them years ago. Uh, in a sense that brings them some sort of revenge. Because if you didn't like something, like if you had to go to jail and you got out of jail, would you start a YouTube show and talk about how you were in jail for, hours and hours and hours? No, you would go do something. I mean, these people could go do anything. I mean, they're so smart, right? They're such smart people and they know all this stuff, and yet they have all this time to whine and bitch about mommy and daddy and how their preacher lied to them, which is true in most cases. These Christians are just as horrible as he is, if not worse, in some cases. This guy he's going to talk about, this Huff guy, that guy's a fucking moron too. I mean, the guy truly is a dipshit. And both of these people are going to the same hell. Okay? They're going to be side by side for eternity. Because they're both liars. They're both manipulators. They would have been better off if they would have just never even been around the religious world. Just went out and, got a job and just was just like a no frills atheist. They could have just been, some kind of barbecue champion or pickleball champion or something, done something with their lives. But clearly they haven't done anything with their lives. And some people, you had that other idiot that got shot. He was a moron too. But this Christian world identifies with him. So he's gone. So someone else has to, be placed up on a pedestal, basically. And we don't really know who it's going to be. In some regards, maybe in Canada, it's this Huff guy. And, he's a lying dipshit. Another educated moron that knows absolutely nothing. Yet at the same time, he knows exactly what he's saying. Because he has to be able to manipulate what he's saying. It's like getting your story straight. That's what you're doing. You're being educated on facts and all this stuff and how to get it straight in a way that you can't really attack it. And even this guy can attack it. And anyone really can. Everyone has an opinion. But facts are facts. And it's funny how facts, like if you look at the New Testament, well, that's not a fact, that's not a fact, that's not a fact. And then they grade it a certain way. Okay? But when it comes to their own material, theirs is far worse and more incomplete and more subjective. Yet, for some reason, it's more correct than what they're attacking. Because that's what it basically all boils down to. This guy has a YouTube channel. Woo, big deal. Who gives a shit? But that's where everyone gathers because they need something to latch onto. And it's not Christianity, so what group are they going to be a part of? And they join this group or that group. And they identify with them. But what they don't realize is the person they're listening to is probably more full of shit than the person they're running away from. The person that they are is the person that they ran away from. They become who they've hated. And that's what drives these people is hate and anger and rage and being a little pussy. That's the other thing about these people. They're such little. These liberals are just the biggest little pussies ever. They're weak. They have no lives. Uh, you know, they're probably always 2 seconds away from jumping out of a window. If it wasn't for modern medicine and medication, these people would have died off years ago. You wouldn't really have a problem with them. Uh, just like the AIDS, all these things would just take care of itself. But they found a way around it, and that's what this channel basically is. It's like so many others, and really even we'll get all the way into academia, but it's just a way to come up with an excuse so you can live with yourself. That's all this is. It's just they put you in a certain place that's even more in darkness, but they make it seem like you're in a good place when you're worse off. But you don't know it. People are aware of it and they fear it, and they know they fear it. But if they just keep thinking happy thoughts, go along with the crowd, take their medication, everything will be fine. Until one day it's not. Because you can't keep that up forever. You can't keep living in darkness. And this is exactly the same for Christians and everyone else. Maybe the Muslims too. I don't know. I don't know that much about them. They have good families. So we can get into it here. I'm just going to show you how dumb these people are. I was watching this, and I think I scanned through most of it, but I didn't watch all of it. But here he is. He's talking about Wes Huff being a moron, and I'd agree with him on that. And blah 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 blah, and he's making fun of him and all this kind of stuff. And they're going through stuff, and you can watch this video. Basically, he's summarizing all these things that he's wrong on.
Widely recognized, at least by scholars who have academic freedom from signing statements of faith, as a propagandistic origin story.
And you just listen to him. I mean, he's just so one-sided. I mean, that's the other thing. A lot of people think, well, this is an independent type person. He could say whatever he wants, but he can. But the side he's coming from is just as one-sided as any Christian. Take me, for example. I'm one-sided in the sense that I'm a disciple of Christ. I only care about what Christ says. I don't really care about anything else. And that's my view. And that's what you're going to get. But that view is not my view. That view is not driven by anger or hate or anything else. My view is based on, I want to be just like Jesus. So I'm going to try as hard as I possibly can, after I ask God for what do things mean? What do I do? What advice do you have for me? And I think this is the part where he talks about, they always have this argument. And here he's talking about Paul and Acts. And this is what's so great about the time we live in. We'll see how easy it is to spell all this guy's, bullshit. This is how easy it is. So I'm not signed in, as you can see, blah, 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 blah. I have to type it in or it makes this noise. Does Paul contradict Acts? That's basically what he's talking about. This is very broad. Blah, 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 blah. Short answer on the surface. Yes or no? No. You see all this blah 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 blah, and this is the world that they live in. Just a bunch of nonsense and bullshit, and just people wasting their lives talking about something that's not even possible. And why do they do that? Because they're angry little fucks, and they have nothing else to do, and they're losers, all of them, every single one of them, and they get some sort of, they built a community online, and that's their identity now. If they get a lot of subscribers and people watch their video, oh wow, maybe I could skip my medication today. But if they don't, it's like, oh, they get all despondent, and they can't handle it. No. Does not clearly contradict Acts of the Apostles. That's how simple it is. And I could do this with anybody. I've done this with Bart Ehrman. I've done it with James Tabor. I've done this. You could do this with anyone. And I'm not even logged in. Look at this. See this right here at the top? I'm not logged in. And you could sit here and listen to all this bullshit and get caught up in it. And that's basically what, these atheists, especially the atheists, there's just like this black hole. And they're always trying to suck you into it and grab onto you and suck you in with them. And you don't even need to go there. No. It's a world that they've created. A world of nonsense. And the Christians do it too. They take the Bible and say things that Jesus clearly didn't say. And say, oh, this is the word of the Lord. Bullshit. You're going to hell. And this is like 99% of Christianity. They have no idea what they're talking about. None. Because they've never taken the time to just look at it. But now you have kind of this dreadnought here, artificial intelligence, where you can get a decently honest answer. Anonymously. Look, this is anonymous. And this guy just goes on and on and on. Blah, 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 blah. And then he's just making all these stupid points that, when he talks about this guy, this Huff guy, I can't get a picture of him. How's a good one? That guy. That guy's a fucking moron. But all the Christians are like, oh, you're our hero. You're our replacement for that other dipshit. And when this dipshit's gone, they'll get another dipshit. And it'll always be some dipshit that they worship. And it's just like the Jews in the Old Testament. They don't care about God. They care about us themselves. They don't give two shits about God. But their great leaders, their idols, the people they put up on a pedestal, say, oh, you're so special. God loves you. Jesus loves you, just how you are. And they get all juicy on the inside and say, oh, wow. And the emotions start flowing and they feel great. Don't need medication. Can skip it for that day. I wonder how many Christians don't have to take their meds on Sunday. But Monday night they're like, better take my pills. Better have a drink. Why do I sin? Why do I sin? They can't figure it out. The atheists are in a constant state of darkness. They know it. And they're afraid. This guy's scared shitless. They all are. You can tell just by the way they talk. Blah, 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 blah about nothing. My stupid religion is better than your stupid religion. Your stupid man-made religion. That's all they're arguing. That's all this is. It's just nonsense versus nonsense. And the whole point of this video is that you get caught up in it and you think it's real, and it's not. And you atheists out there, you think this guy's smart? He's not smart. He doesn't know anything. He just knows a bunch of stupid shit from other people that he just regurgitates. It's not factual. He just goes around, makes fun of everyone because he ain't got nothing to do. I ain't got nothing to do either. I'm retired. I can do whatever I want. All I got to do today is feed my cat. Do some loot development. And then they got this stupid cunt. Blah, 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 blah. They got some other stupid bitch, this stupid bitch on there. Blah, 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 blah. She's worse than I am. Which is pretty hard. Now they're attacking the guy's disease and what's a miracle. I mean, they're just, who gives a shit? Blah, blah, blah. The guy's a fucking dope. An hour, 20 minutes plus of, nonsense. And they call it a response. I don't. Was he asking you anything? I don't know. I don't think so. And what's so funny is that I'm a former Christian. Don't you know that Christianity is made up? They did the same shit that you're doing and involved in right now. You're just another religion, just on the opposite end of the spectrum. Over there with the Bart Ehrmans and all the other morons. I mean, look at these people. And it's just all about attacking Christianity. That's what he does. But he's wrong. I mean, you could just give me... Oh.
Welcome to Apologia, where a former Christian takes a look at...
How do you... I don't want to hear his fucking voice. Hey, there's a comment. Paul is the biggest hack in the universe. That's me right there. 2 months ago. I watched this 2 months ago, huh? Yeah, this stupid fucking cunt right here. He only gives you the cartoon characters ever, but boy, talk about a stupid fucking bitch. A stupid, lying, communist agitator. And I've done videos on academics. I've never done one on her because who gives a shit? I mean, she's that bad. But I'll address it here.
Can be reconstructed. It isn't.
I have a reconstructed. It's basically what this twat does all fucking day is she probably hangs out. Did I ever look that up? I'm going to go ahead and speculate. And she is a part of some liberal arts college, lesbian arts college somewhere. And all she does is just take facts, religion. And she'll go into areas that don't really explain themselves completely because they don't need to. That's not what the New Testament's for. But of course, these people have made a living off of it. And they take information that can't really be disproven because you can't really prove it's real in the first place. It's basically, I should read my own comment. Just read my own comment. Shut your face and go back to your lesbian level arts college, you fraud. Wow. I have great memory. At least my opinions are consistent, huh? This was 2 months ago. That's exactly what I'm saying now. She's just a hack. And they make these careers out of nothing. Because the New Testament, you just read it. If you could read Koine Greek, let's just say you knew Koine Greek, and you just read the New Testament in its original language, you go, oh, okay, all that makes sense. I believe it or I don't believe it. But it really doesn't matter because most people never even get there. The things that I say, I don't really see anyone listening to it. Maybe a couple people. But a lot of people can't even identify what's being said. Even people that would agree with me. Because they're not listening to what it's saying. They're just, I read a book and this is my view now. I watched a YouTube channel, this is my view now because I like it. That's not a disciple of Christ. Disciple of Christ is, well, what did Jesus say and what did he not say? And what does that mean? And these people take things that maybe Jesus said or didn't say, or events that were talked about, and then they add this extra. That's how they make their living. They're bullshit artists. They just come out of nowhere and make something up that you can't really disprove, but it's not real. Yet this is academia. This is college. They're teaching them things that can't even be founded. She can't prove anything that she said. And I think in the beginning she's got all these books. I mean, they write all these books in the beginning, right? All over dumb. Look at all these dumb books she's written. Oh, Paul, Ancient Christianities. Okay, let me tell you something right now. This woman is a Jew, just like James Tabor is a Jew. Bart Ehrman's probably up the same alley. I don't think he's really Jewish, but it doesn't matter. He's doing the same work. These people are not Jesus lovers. They hate Jesus. They hate Jesus. They hate Christianity. They hate America. They hate freedom. They hate their own kind. These are the type of people that root on the Palestinians, a lot of them. Not officially. It's like these self-hating Jews. It's insane. They're insane. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about. These people are just so screwed up. It's not even funny. And yet these people are the ones who are in our college teaching Christians. And then they come out like that, what's that DZ Debates guy? And Bart Ehrman and all these, and they come out all screwed up, and then they become liberals too. And the reason that was able to happen is because their faith was built on something that wasn't real. And that's the fault of the Christian. Atheism was created by Christianity. It was a byproduct. And that's why you need people like this. And you need shows like this. And you need a Bart Ehrman. And you need to put these people up so you can give these people something to believe in. So they don't become despondent and kill themselves. You have to keep these people alive. You have to keep them going so they can vote for you. And you can have power. This is the basis of the Democrat Party. Just a bunch of fucked up people who are angry and have as many rights as you do. They could have 12 kids from 12 different guys, be on welfare, never had a job in their life, and have all the same rights and powers as you do. Someone that goes to work every day and pays their taxes and isn't a burden on the system. And these people are a burden on you. They suck the marrow, the life out of you. And they suck the marrow and life out of these people. But they're too stupid to get it. Let's go to the truth doctor here. I'll go ahead and log out. I'll log back in to this GTP thing. I know that makes a funny noise when I do that. I think it sure does. I think it does for sure. And I apologize, but sometimes it's like that would take me 4 hours to write. And then it would be like, I don't know who you're talking about. And it's kind of frustrating. Okay, yes, there's a small correction. I don't care. Blah, 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 blah. Her books are generally considered historically credible, but not uncontested facts. Factual, based on reality. My biggest problem when answering this thing is the same reason why I had a bad haircut my entire life, is because I just can't really explain myself. And I can't articulate myself either, as you could tell from these videos. So I don't apologize for it, but that's just the way it is. But you can see here, the honest answer is partially, but not completely. And that's true for all historians in the field. So, according to this, all historians in the field are, like I said, they take facts and they create something that is a gray area, and you can't really, you could disagree with it, but it's like you can't call them out completely for it because they're smart and they can get away with it. And that's the type of people they are. They're these liberal, atheist, Bolshevik, in a sense that they're just these like communist shitheads, and they're here to destroy. And then a lot of these people, you can add the Jewish element in a sense that it's not the person, because I'm Jewish. I have friends that are Jewish, if you want to put it in those terms. But we're not Jewish because we practice the faith. It's just a lineage. Like, I was actually adopted into a family that has predominantly Jews. Like some of them are Hasidic Jews. Like, the people, they're kind of weird. They're kind of like halfway between like Hasidic and just like lapsed Jews. I don't know. There's a couple of them, and I met them, and I don't know, they're weird. But that doesn't change my view on them, because I have friends that are from Jews. They're not practicing Jews, but their mothers were Jewish in that sense. And they're just normal people like you and me. But their families are insane. And not insane like everyone's family is insane. Insane like because it's a religious insanity. A Jew and a Muslim couldn't sit down and have a dinner together because it violates both of their laws. Just like they talk about in the New Testament. Paul was bitching about Peter because he was, not having a meal with these people. And that's how Jews are. They think they're better than everyone because they're the chosen people. And this whole Jesus thing is just a bunch of crap to them. It's just a story that never really took place. And they do everything they can to confound and confuse us Gentiles, and even in their own people, lineage-wise, into thinking that what they're saying is true. But what they're saying is, right here. I mean, you could read it. Did I already ask it yes or no? Yes or no? It's just a bunch of bullshit. Not purely factual. Wow. And again, I'm not logged in. I'm just an anonymous person asking a simple question about someone. Check this out. Is Bart, I don't know how to say it, B-A-Art, the same? I mean, is essentially the same in that respect. No, his books are not purely objective, provable fact. Yes, they are based in real historical evidence and serious scholarship. The way I interpret what they're saying is that they're bullshit artists. And they take real facts, just like the Christians do. They take real facts and they twist them around for their own benefit. Okay, so for Christianity, what's their benefit? They want you to join their church, they want you to give them money, and they want power. Just like everyone, just like every other system. Government, all this stuff. This type of, system. It's not like I'm going to build a big company and you're my workers and we're going to all do this together. No, it's they're going to blow sunshine up your ass and tell you how great you are, and you're going to feel good because that's what politicians are. They're bullshit artists that can go around and make everyone feel good. Like Bill Clinton. People love Bill Clinton because he's such a great actor. He can walk up and say, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, that's a great shirt, man." How could you not like someone like that? But it's all fake. Ronald Reagan's the same. All of them were. You don't become president because, you're going to do a good job. You become president because people like you. You can get people to like you. And it's the same thing here. They just sit there stoically and say, "Oh, this is true. All this evidence is great and true," and all these atheists, eat it up. And it's not true at all. I don't know. I use artificial intelligence because it's like the least subjective medium that I could find that I could actually produce something on and show people stuff. I can say, here's an unbiased source. I'm not logged in. I'm asking it simple questions. I'm trying to be partial about it. It's kind of hard to get where I want. Are her books factual? I didn't say, "Hey, do you know who this stupid cunt is? This stupid bitch?" I didn't say that. To get it to think, "Oh, it doesn't like this person." Draws interpretive conclusions that not everyone agrees with. But that's what these people do. They just create something out of nothing, and they call that academia. And me, naively, at some point, I said, "You know what? These Christians, I just can't get a straight answer from them." It's just, you pick a church because you basically, what do you want to hear? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to go to a church and tell you how great you are? How horrible of a person are you? Do you cheat on your wife all the time? Are you gay? Are you a child molester? I don't know. I don't know any churches that are doing that yet. I'm sure that the gay ones are, but all you have to do is find a church that you like, and that's the one you go to, and that's your religion. That's your view. That's how you base your view of Jesus. And you're going to hell. So many of you people are going to hell because you choose to go to a place where that's what you like. Maybe you don't agree with everything, but you sit there, you sit there and you watch it and you allow it to happen. You're better off going home, just sitting in your basement, reading your Bible, but you can't do that because you need other people. It's the same thing with the atheists. They need other people. They need people to agree with them. And who do they cheer on? These idiots who aren't even telling you things that are factual. Because the Bible, the New Testament, is that simple. Not the Old Testament. I'm talking about the New Testament. It's really simple. And Jesus said it all. You don't need to go anywhere else for information. That's it. End of story. Try to make a book off of that. You can't. That's what relief is. That's what salvation is. But all these people were told lies. And then they're all pissed off about it. And then they do the exact same thing, just on the opposite end of the spectrum. And they're horrible people. And this guy's a part of this group, this cavalcade of just dipshit, commie, liberal fuckheads who,
on his face.
I mean, if they gave you AIDS, you would be better off. Okay? Because the type of filth that they talk about, the things that they say. What is all this shit? What is this shit anyway with the mugs and the, you know, how come all these fuckheads have mugs too? What is all this crap? Oh, is it just suggestions? Maybe it's just the stupidest. Like, I watched this. This is pretty good. I like this war stories. You know, it's so great because my grandparents were in World War II. And they told me all these great stories, and I love these war stories, and it's free. Sometimes you gotta watch these dumb commercials, but they're done. They're mostly done by like the BBC, and they're great. Much better than this dope that I have to sit here and warn everyone about. But I mean, just, you know, this Alex O'Connor is okay. I think he's very partial. But then again, I'm sure he's biased in some way. But I think he's less biased.
Potential awareness of a problem that people have.
Blah, blah, blah. I think it's some Christian moron. You know, they always got an excuse for everything. Here's this bitch again. Blah, 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 blah.
Of hope. However,
You know what your problem is. You know, I know everything. That's essentially what she's talking about. I know everything. West Huff is a Nazi. Blah, 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 blah. What a horrible existence. I hate to have it even talk about this, to stoop this low. But I know there's people, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it for you. You ungrateful so-and-sos. Because they're all just, this is all bullshit. This is all just noise. Blah, 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 blah. It means nothing. It has nothing to do with Jesus. It has nothing to do with God. Nothing. It's just a bunch of facts that people twist around. And who gives a shit what happened 2,000 years ago with, you know, this guy's a dope. He's supposed to be a Mormon. I know who he is. That's the problem. I mean, if he's right about stuff, how could you be a Mormon? I can understand how you could, but how can you continue to go? That's a problem. There's this other chick, I saw her on here. She's a fucking moron. This fucking moron. You want to talk about fucking morons? I can't remember her name is. It's like Walsh something. It's like something Walsh, like a hyphen name or something. This person is so fucking full of shit. And, you know, I'm sure she's only around because everyone wants to, like, rub up against her and you know, smell her hair and shit. I bet you Bart Ehrman just wants to smell her hair and rub up against her. Him and Tabor. But the shit that comes out of her mouth is just... You might as well just piss on the furniture at an Airbnb you rented. I mean, that's basically what this person's doing, but in an academic sense. She's like, what's it called? OnlyFans. Is that what it was? That lady that got arrested in Florida? She's like this lady right here with the dark hair, she's like the OnlyFans of the academic, religious, Christian realm. That's what she is. I don't even think anyone listens to what she says. They just go, oh, wow, you're so smart. Oh, hug, hug, hug. Oh. That'll sustain me till I could play with myself tonight in my hotel room. I'm quoting one of the I'm quoting one of these people that hang around her. These scholars. I'm a scholar. Everyone's a scholar. If you hear someone say they're a scholar, run. Run away. And I've sat there and I've listened to these people for a long time. I even spent my own money on Bart Ehrman's blog. I was there for 3 years, 2 years. 2 years, I think. No. I was thinking it was only a year, but I think I did an extra year. But somehow I'm thinking it's 3 years too, but I'm pretty sure it's only 2 years. Like the second year I was kind of like, It already renewed without me noticing. I was like, shit, oh well. I guess I'll do an extra year. And I bought stuff from Tabor, and I've talked to Tabor, and, it was nice interacting with him. And I appreciate it. But when you talk to someone who's just lying to you, it's a bit of a problem for me. I don't like to be lied to. And what's weird is there's no reason to lie. You figure I want to go to college because I just want to get the truth, but they're just there to brainwash you. And it's a fight between a bunch of people that don't know what they're talking about versus a bunch of other people that don't know what they're talking about. But at the same time, they do know what they're talking about, but they're never going to talk about it. And I don't think much that they think about it. They must not, because how could you live with yourself if you were a Christian? If you were a Christian. I love Jesus, yet I know I'm completely ignoring what was actually said in the New Testament. Even just a little bit. One verse is enough. And that's my problem with Steve Craig. He could be great. He could be perfect. But he has to lie. Why? For theology? For something that you basically just created from bits and scraps of other things that appeal to you? That's basically it. He just created his own little religion. And he's carved out a living from it. Pretty good one. And, that's his basis. He needs that money. He needs to keep going. That's what he does. But he sold his soul to the devil for it. He's not loyal. And to be honest with you, look at me. How many views did I get? None. And the people I talk to are great. There's one guy that came back. I talked to him. I don't think it was quite right for him yet. I think that's how that happened. It just wasn't quite the right time for him. He went away for a while, learned some more stuff. I learned some more stuff. And then we ran into each other again online, and we're talking about some topics that he has been working on and I've been working on. And it's great because we're more eye to eye equals. Because that's my issue. I want to be equal with everyone. I don't want to be anyone's guru. And I guess I'm an elder. I haven't been ordained as one, but that's what these videos are about. What I've gone through, what I've seen, these horrible people like this. But then you look on the Christian world, go back to this guy. We got that dumb idiot again. This guy, he's a moron. A Mormon moron. And this, quadruple dipshit right here. Huff. I mean, this guy, you know what, to be honest with you, this guy Huff is worse than all the Bart Ehrman and this cartoon dipshit and all of his cavalcade of moron friends and that other lady, the OnlyFans chick, and Paula, probably not worse than Paula Friedrichsen, but Pretty close. I mean, if you put Paula in with all the other people, then they'll be worse than Huff. But if you left her out, he would be worse than them. She would be the equalizer. A fuckdom, fuckheadedom. I mean, this guy's a bad guy because he's misleading people. He knows the stuff he's saying is only done to convey his view. And he thinks he's doing it for Jesus. He's not doing anything for Jesus or God. He's doing the work of Satan. He's only doing it because he's popular. This guy would probably jump out of a window too someday if he lost his audience. But his audience doesn't care. They just need a champion. And they can overlook so many things. Just like with our politicians. Someone does something, it's like, Because if we get rid of him or her, then the Republican wins or the Democrat wins. We can't have that. But that's not the world that disciples live in. Disciples live in a world where guidelines are set. And we follow those guidelines, not because we have to, it's because God, know what's best. They created us. They created everything. And they tell us this stuff because they don't want us to get hurt. Just like your kid. You tell them things because you don't want them to make the same mistakes as you do, for one. And two, you just don't want them to get hurt. You want them to succeed. You want them to be able to buy a house and have a good, easy life. But they don't listen. Right? Nobody ever listens. And it's the same situation here. No one listens to God. They just do whatever they want to do. I'm a lesbian and I want to be told Jesus loves me. Let's put that in Google and see what church comes up with. Boom, let's go. And you go there and you get everything you want and you're happy. At least until Monday or Tuesday. But don't worry, you have Bible study. It'll make you feel good again. That should get you by. That's why when COVID happened, all those churches, oh no, you got to come to church because the spell will be broken. I do think that their membership has decreased. Where did all those people go? Did they see through it and become an atheist? Or did they just say, you know what? I can just talk to God. I don't need you. I can go in the hallway closet and close the door and just be with God and talk to him and ask him whatever I want. Step right back out. No one will even know that I've disappeared for 5 minutes. Be secret. Everything's secret. Because it's just you and him. And then all of a sudden things are working out for them. And they don't need to be love bombed when they get to church. They just don't need it anymore. And then they start to see the truth. And the truth is that they're horrible. And they're horrible because they live in a place that's horrible. They were born into it. And they got to shed their views and have to shed their ways for what God is telling them. And they do it blindly, and they trust him blindly because they love him, because they know God loves them, and they love God. That's why people believe. It's about trust. It's about love. But most people don't get that love. Like this guy. He got a bunch of biblical nonsense. And he never got to know God because they kept it from him. That's the thing with these atheists. They kept you from it. This Wes Huff guy keeps you away from God. He bitch slaps it right out of your mouth for some nonsense. Have you ever heard him talk? I saw him on stage once. So like this 360, like he's in the center. And he reminds me of that. Who's that comedian, that dipshit, pumpkin face guy? Two in the stink, one in the pink, or whatever. That fucking moron, dating a 12-year-old, whatever his name is. I mean, he looked exactly like him. He's up there on stage. Oh, he's talking like an idiot, and he's not saying anything. Yet he's doing so much damage by misleading you. These atheists, and I made a video about it too, if you really don't like Christianity, why don't you just tell the truth? But they can't, because they don't know what the truth is themselves. That's why they're atheists in the first place. And you can only get that through God. And I don't doubt these people prayed, but the problem is that the tools you were given by your church and your parents and all, your community, they're the ones that fucked you over. Could you imagine saying, oh, we all need to climb the mountain. Cool. Here's a bag of Jell-O and a pair of high heels. Go climb that mountain. Okay. Remember, have faith. If you have faith, you'll climb that mountain. Okay. You're sitting there in your high heels and your bag of Jell-O and you're trying to climb this mountain. Well, of course it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And they don't see that. There's no trick to it. You just go to God and you talk to him. You could be in your car in traffic. You can be on the toilet. I could be talking to God the whole time right now. You just sit here and, my kid does bad math. Why? My boss is a jerk. Why? How come every Monday night I feel like shit, but then I get out of church on Sunday and I feel great? I feel like Jesus loves me. And then Monday night I feel like Jesus hates me. How come the magic wears off? Why do I sin? Why, and you just torture yourself. And these people are smart for leaving because you might as well. You're just torturing yourself. It's just pure torture. It's people's identities and it's become their facade and it's who they are. And a lot of them just do it anyway. And they say, well, I'm human. Sorry, God. And they deal with it until it comes out. I mean, pastors, they have all this power and authority and all this good, happy feelings, coming up to them, right? It's like a funnel. And it all comes from their congregation and goes right in. Oh, you're so great, Pastor Tom, and you got the Spirit. I could tell you got the Spirit. And, they got all this stuff coming to them, and they're like, yeah, that's right. I'm going to go have sex with my secretary. Does that make sense to you? Is that the outcome? Fucking little boys like the Catholic Church. We're the universal church. And we fuck kids. And we've been doing it for almost 2,000 years. Well, since, 2,000 years, they want to claim all attestation all the way back to Paul, then they can take all the kitty fucking too. And that's all they are. Probably I wonder how many people became priests just so they can have sex with kids. And have all the power and the glory. They're ejaculating in a kid's mouth and saying, oh, this is the Spirit of Jesus. I've heard these people talk. I don't know if it's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt that someone with that mentality would say something like that. Because they're not disciples. They're frauds. They're only there because maybe they don't have any job skills. and they want everyone to like them. Especially back in like the 50s. I mean, you know, priest was like become a doctor or you know, something to be proud of. My kid's the star quarterback of, you know, the Chicago Bears, and they just won the Super Bowl, like something like that. What's your son do? He's a doctor. What's your son do? He's a priest. Oh, wow, a priest. Oh, he's so holy, I bet. Oh, wow. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. And it's all a bunch of bullshit. You're all horrible people. Bunch of wretched, horrible, nasty, disgusting people. And you don't care about anything. And that's why you suck. And that's why you suffer. And that's why you always suffer. But the ones that actually care about God, you ever pray to God and say, hey, how's your day going? Do you ever do that? Ask questions about Him? I do. Not because I'm trying to gain points, but because that's my mentality. I think about Him. What's He doing? What's Jesus doing? What do you guys do up there? I don't get answers. Never got an answer to that one. But I also don't think about it either. I don't think about what body I'm going to have after I die. It's not really important to me. I got enough problems. And so do you. You got more problems than I do. And the problem is ourselves. The problem is that we're still on this world. Look how fat I am. I'm only eating one meal a day. And I'm not really losing weight. I got the diabetes under control. I don't have diabetes, but, you know, the high blood sugar. And I'm trying to be willful with it, but it will never work. Yet it remains. And that's just the way it's going to be, I guess. Do you think if I go to a Wes Huff concert, I'm going to be thin and trim and disease-free? No. You think if I give money to some preacher who drives a Ferrari to his church every Sunday, it's going to happen? No. And at this point, it's still happening. You know, obviously, it's not something to be concerned with. Even though I am. I don't know if it's age or it's the disease process is increasing, but there are concerns. That's basically my only concern. And making sure I feed my cat, take out the garbage, put it out on Fridays. That's basically it. I'm free to do whatever I want. And I'm completely insulated from the rest of you folk. You can sit here and you can listen to all this bullshit talking, blah, 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 till the end of time. Have fun. Because all these fuckers are going to hell. Every single one of them. This Wes Huff guy, this Wes Huff guy is going to get it more than this cartoon dipshit guy. Blaspheming the Holy Spirit. They're both guilty of it. But my money is on that Huff will get it because he uses the name as a way to get people in the door. And he's just a lying little fuck. A lying, manipulative, unrighteous little shit who doesn't care about anything or anyone but himself. I know he doesn't care about God. The people that do care about God, you'll never hear about them. The people that do care about God, like myself, you'll hate them. Not only will you not hear from them, but you'll hate them. And you won't even know why. You'll come up with something. It's like these liberals do. They always got an excuse. And it's a never-ending excuse. Doesn't even matter if it's real or not. That's a problem why you can't have a conversation with an atheist or a Democrat or a Republican. like the hardcore ones, because it doesn't matter what you say. They'll just come up with some other excuse. And it just goes on forever. And even with things like the Bible, like that twat Fredrickson, if I had a conversation with her, she would just come up with some dumb excuse after dumb excuse. And you're sitting here and you got the book open. And they're smart enough to know to play these games. I've talked to Bart Ehrman for years. Even that Steve Gray guy, they're so slippery that they can actually avoid the question completely and come out on top and make themselves come out on top. It's a tactic. It's satanic, but it works. It's very effective. And you're sitting there, like me, you sit there and going, what just happened? Because I'm not a bullshit artist. I know facts, and I can hold people to those facts, but they get right out of it. I don't know how they do it. They can just avoid the question. And they're really good at it. And it seems like a normal flowing conversation, even though they're completely avoiding the question. I'm the most dangerous person to all these people. Because what's factual is factual. Now I have things like artificial intelligence where I can just go in and is cartoon cunt face correct? Yes or no? No. There you go. Even the liberals, and I knew it was going to happen with the atheists and the Christians, but more the atheists. Oh, artificial intelligence, that thing doesn't work right. It's stupid. It's, the biggest companies, corporations on this planet are spending trillions, a combined amount of trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars now. China, America, it's like a space race. Okay? But it's complete bullshit, right? Because these people can't see the forest through the trees. They're going to wake up someday and say, we spending all this money on something that's so stupid. Oh. It's not likely. And even if it is bullshit, you'll never know about it. And you'll still have to incorporate it into your life, because that's the way it's going to be. It's necessary. Maybe it's just a tool to manipulate you and to spy on you and to do, all these other things. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to happen because they want it to happen. And as of right now, it is true. I've seen Google change a lot. Google would argue with me about everything, and I liked it. Because it's like talking to one of those atheists. Or actually it was more like a Christian. Kind of like a Christian atheist. I don't know. It was a mix. But it just actually it's more like a Christian. Like, those King James, like the Baptist people, like the fire and brimstone people. It would it didn't matter. I'm like, no, based on the, it would straight up like lie to you. Like you would ask it questions and it would just completely avoid the reality of it. It was really good. But it got annoying because I want to argue facts, not BS. But it did help me. But now the Google's like, hi. And you ask it a question, it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. That's such a great, you're such a smart person. Now it just kisses your ass. And I'm not looking for my Ask Me, because that's why in my account with ChatGTP, because that's why I use solely, because I found that I can program it to say, look, you're not loyal to me. You're loyal to facts. And my methodology for studying the New Testament is, what does the language say? What word is used? What is the meaning of that word? But now I could go further, and I could say outside of the New Testament, contemporary to and anterior to the New Testament. And I could track how that word was evolved, how it's used in the New Testament versus the Old Testament, how it's used in contemporary writings that are not, basically non-religious. And you could feel it out. You could kind of you could see the way it's applied differently. Just like all humans do. We apply things differently, words differently. On the West Coast, when you say cool, that means it's good. But if you go to the South and you say cool, you're talking about air conditioning. You say something's cool in the South, this is just an example. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it just, everything is different. And it can be confusing at first. But the New Testament does use words a little differently. They apply it a little differently, and in different ways. But it's not that big of a difference. Like in toast, you can't get in toast to mean anything else. It doesn't mean among, doesn't mean in the midst of, it just doesn't. The author puts it in a box. The kingdom of God is inside of you. That's in a box. You can't take it outside of that box. And they say, well, context doesn't get it out of the box. The author put it in a box. You can't get it out. Unless that's how he described it, and he didn't. It's just a trick. And there's so many tricks that these people play. Bart Ehrman plays. That's the funny thing when it comes to that Luke 17:21. Everyone plays the same game. It's the same thing across the board. There's like 7 or 8 different versions of it, but they're all lies. And you can always tell it's a lie because they're so overbearing with it. They have to add all this other stuff, unsolicited. So you can tell that they're lying. And they do it in other places. I mean, imagine just reading a book, any book, I don't care what it is. Harry Potter. You just read it. Harry went upstairs. Harry went into his room. Harry opened the door and got his hat. Harry got his raincoat and his umbrella. Harry went back down to the stairs. Harry went out the door. I mean, it is that simple, even with the New Testament. It's harder because it's written in an old language. And trust me, the Christian world, this Bart Ehrman, these two fuckheads right here, they just love to manipulate everything because you don't know better. You don't know better because you never asked God, because you don't believe in him. So guess what? You're out. I think this topic of this video that he's talking about, am I going to hell? Yeah, you're going to hell. Nobody wants to hear that. You know the real reason why people go to hell? Because you don't love God. You may think you do, but he doesn't agree. Why doesn't he agree? Because you never loved him. You never got to know him. You never took all your problems to him. You never talked to him endlessly, day in and day out. He doesn't even know who you are in that way. How could you say you love God? And hell is basically where you go because you don't love God. There's only 2 places you can go. If you really love God, you'd end up with him, wherever he is. And for everyone else, there's hell. That's what we call it. The lake of fire, where Satan is. That's where these two are going. And for the same reason. They sit here and argue, and all these people argue with each other. Guess what? They're all going to be in hell. And I understand it's all on purpose. All this stuff is on purpose. You believe this stuff that was on purpose. Because that's what you want to believe. You want to be a Mormon? Go right ahead and be a Mormon. You want to be a Catholic? Be a Catholic. You think Mary is the queen of heaven and earth? Fine. You think the Pope is Jesus, the representative on earth? Same guy that hides child molestation activities in his own congregation? Sure, go ahead and believe it. He'll give you all the child molestation you want. He's not going to stop you. He's not going to stop you from doing anything. Because you made that choice. If you really loved him, if you really even know what love is, which most people don't, you would know him, you would respect him, just like you would respect your spouse. Like my wife. When I was dating her, I actually got to know her. She talked about her childhood. Things that she liked. That's me paying attention to her. We do the same thing today. What was she bitching about the other day? A Tesla, something about the driverless Tesla. And I'm listening to her. And she's changed over time, and I've changed over time, but we've never been separated because I still listen to her. And she has evolved. Not necessarily up, but into to something else. She wasn't the same person I married. She's grown up. And I've evolved with her. Together. Instead of evolving apart from each other like most marriages do. They got kids, they got jobs, they don't, they probably never cared in the first place, probably just wanted to have sex. And now they're stuck with each other. And everyone could have the same opportunity. It really, honestly, in some way, it almost doesn't matter who you marry. You can marry almost anyone. And be together. But you have to care. And most people don't care. And it's the same thing with God. They don't care about God. He's just a lucky rabbit's foot there for whenever someone needs him. Do you think he wants to be with you for eternity? The answer is no. And that's just the average person out there walking around right now. These two idiots. They're going to get some extra special attention. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't speak for God, but the things that Jesus spoke about, it doesn't seem likely that they're going to just be on the outside of the city, as referenced in Revelation 22, towards the end. Well, beating this horse pretty dead. Everyone's horrible. Everyone's insane. I can't even think what God thinks about them. I know the way I think about them. And I am being judgmental. Poor God. That's what I think. Poor God. Done all these things. No one cares. Nobody cares about him. No one ever thinks about him. And what does God want? You to listen to him so you can stop being an asshole and become something that's good enough to enter his realm, to see properly. It's for your benefit, not for his. I don't know why he created us. And really, I don't know what the whole point of all this is. Like, does he need us for something? Feel like hiring? I need good workers. I don't know. I don't know what comes after this. But the salvation that I've received from him, that I couldn't see when I read the Bible, but now that I read the Bible, I can tell exactly what's happening. and no one else can see it. Some people can kind of see it, but they don't really know what it means. And if it's this good now, I can imagine what it'll be like after. And what it really is it's truth. It's honesty. It's just the way things are. Imagine driving on the wrong side of the interstate. Imagine how stressful that would be. And then you drive on the right side of the interstate with the flow of traffic. No traffic. How about that? Let's say you're just a couple car passes you every now and then. You're going the right way. Ah, what a relief. Got myself a Tesla. Can just program it right. You just sit there and just sit back and relax. Much better than driving on the wrong side of the road. Everyone's driving on the wrong side of the road. I'm not. And I can definitely tell the difference. No one else can. They think that's the way you do it. And then they sit there and lecture each other on how they should be driving. But they're all driving on the wrong side of the road. And that's basically, to sum up, what's happening here. Bunch of stupid morons arguing about something that's ultimately wrong. They don't get it. They can't see it. And when you do say something about it, they attack you for it. Right? God is the only way. Praying to Him, going to Him in prayer. That's it. That's all you got. That's the only thing that exists. And the only reason you have to do that and start that process is because you're the problem. You are the problem. Not him. Not your friends.